I was getting a little worried about the kind of intervention that we are going to need to do, not with this particular epidemic, but what it has done institutionally to the country. First important thing is very clear: the NDMA has been used as even more stringent than the emergency itself. But, so that particular part, how the NDMA can be used to do acts which are worse than what the emergency and external emergency can do to your citizens, or what a financial emergency can do to the citizens and things like that, whatever those emergencies. So NDMA has become a emergency act. So what are we going to do about it? I feel that we have to play a role in framing revised guidelines for virus-type disasters, because after every disaster they come out with a report, and DMA comes out with a report, putting together all the incidents, putting together all the data, and then laying guidelines for the future. And I think now is the time that we need to get together all these experiences that we had and put that out so that they cannot deny this time of it. Because right now they're going to deny that human rights was violated. They're going to deny that. We have to, like how they did it in court as far as the, people walking on the road. This whole thing of transparency, is transparency good for an emergency or is it bad? We have to push that more information is always good. Two is this right to protest during this type of a thing. That's some place where people, when they disagree, they have to be able to protest, say that thing. That right and that forum, maybe in a constructive forum, maybe in an enclosed place, maybe whatever. But this whole thing of denial of the right that the protests have taken place has landed up in the situation where even in Bombay we had 1,000 people just going berserk. The other part is local goons. In every local area, there are people who are goons, who are just using this situation. And why? Because there is no authority. There is no local groups or local communities. There is no recognized authority. Like in our building, our whole complex, about 30 buildings, when the containment zone was lifted in one part, the one guy just decided to give the thing that, oh, now this has been removed and this has happened, and below is written Shaka Pramukh. As if the Shaka Pramukh has done all this, yeah? As if he's got the right to tell us, this has been removed, that has been removed, and things like that. So what they have done is they have made a whole subterranean system of governance, which we have to expose, and we have to say, no, this transparency, like every morning you have, oh, the shop is going to open at 8 o'clock and close at 9, 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock. There's no place where we can go and differ. Correct? So the last part is, what I am saying is that we need to say that in the biological disasters which they were talking about are all for the big, whatever, the bio-warfare, the type of, where the enemy is external. The virus, the caretakers themselves are the biggest victims of the virus. The police, who have to do their supervision, they are the thing. They are the biggest carriers. The doctors, they will also be the carriers, and the people who are moving around, who have to move the essential service. So I think we have to also start talking about this whole thing, approach to data, as being negative. That you have made the data in such a way that, oh, he's got corona, therefore he has to be isolated. There is a need for deciding that you are not going to keep a track of who is the problem. You're going to keep a track of where are the solutions. Namely, you have to decide, if you've got an emergency situation, You decide that my priorities, these are the corridors of essential activity that needs to be going. These are the priorities, and each priority will get a different color. Urgency color, less rather than red, green, and orange. So the whole issue is trying to change this whole approach to disaster management from one that is policing and then putting down and negative and blaming the citizen, to actually saying what are the things that we need to do and what are the things that we all need to participate. So if we take that kind of a thing and put up 2 or 3 documents, I feel that whatever experience everyone must have, must put it up in whichever forum, whichever publication that we have, so that there's a lot of these small opinions that come out, and then we can say, no, there is such a big, vast body of knowledge. There's no need for one comprehensive report. We can have small things and then try and bring that. So my plea is that all the data that is there on these type of things, we should start authenticating it. Because there are a lot of videos, a lot of things that people have taken on their camera, but there's no authentication of it. So we should try and get the authentication of it. Who took that picture, which date, time, people, is very important. We need to put that together, and we'll start putting it in one place and let people write it in different forums. Right? We don't need to have just one forum for it. Let us flower it in different places. So I think we should do that. We should make a concrete effort to put these things in different places and a wide variety of them. Actually, this whole issue of corridors of activity, positive activity, corridors of essential activity approach can be a whole new logistics approach to the problem of disaster. Which are the corridors where things should move? We need food to move, therefore the highways have to be. The second part of the Kerala finance minister just now, in the previous Zoom, he spoke about reverse quarantine. That means the people who are your productive people, laborers, they should not be kept in quarantine. They should be move out. They should be given mobility. That would be the priority. Okay, so my main plea is that, okay, let's do this. So the lastly that I want to say is we need to, this disaster management plan talks only about center, state and district. I say that we should think in terms of local community and make it a very definite category. And we don't call them containment zones, we call them protection zones. The names also mean a lot. And these, we build bases in these zones of self on skills and resources and interest in the community. Like for example, in Dharavi, there are a lot of people who are qualified, who have done some health work, they have done nurses, whatever. But there's no database on them, so they will not come forward. Whereas if they were part of your, civil defense or whatever system. So I just feel that we should, communications, local communications now is becoming important rather than the TV communication. So, to have some authenticated local communications system, where instead of having the Shaka Pramukh just saying, claiming and whatever, there's no authentication for that information. So a system where whatever is put out, okay, bush shops will be open at so and so time, from so and so time only this will be served or this will be happening. That should come from a credible source. Otherwise it's just going and then a lot of people are, So we have to talk in terms of people's hygiene. Half the bloody problem in our area and in Dharavi and all the places is the problem that local people are not taking care of their hygiene. And now I saw all our drains are being cleaned up by the same migrant labor and things like that which we are facing. They are being cleaned right now because the monsoons are going to come. Food supply, finance and subsidy. Okay, these are some of the things that we need to talk about in the NDMA Act and in the Epidemic Act and all these things. We have to intervene with certain positive things and, say that these are the things that need to be done. Thank you.
Thank you, John. That was very helpful. Building those issues at local level and questioning whole NDMA process.